There are many cities around the world that have inspired great works of art and literature. For hundreds of years, artists have come to Paris to live and work. Writers like George Orwell, F. Scott Fitzgerald, Ernest Hemingway, and many others travelled from across Europe and around the world to experience life in the city. The beautiful city of Prague inspired the work of Franz Kafka, and since the early 20th century, New York has been home to many writers and artists. London has changed a lot since Charles Dickens wrote about the city in the early 19th century, but the city still attracts writers from the UK and around the world. Of course, it isn't just great cities that inspire writers. Every year, people travel from around the world to the Lake District in the north of England to visit a tiny farmhouse in the middle of beautiful English countryside. Hilltop Farm was the home of Beatrix Potter. Potter wrote and illustrated The Tale of Peter Rabbit and many other stories for children. Since she wrote Peter Rabbit in 1902, publishers have sold more than 40 million copies, and they have translated the story into more than 35 languages. Hilltop has been open to the paying public for over 60 years, and it's still as popular as ever. In 2011, there were over 100,000 visitors. Around 100 years earlier, another female British author was at work. In the city of Bath, in the southwest of England, there's a museum about one of England's most well-known writers of the early 19th century, Jane Austen, the author of Pride and Prejudice. Austen wrote about this city in her novels, and it's a favourite location for film and television adaptations of her work. But Austen only lived in Bath for a short time. She wrote most of her famous novels in the peace and quiet of the English countryside. This is Chawton, a 17th century country house where Jane Austen lived with her mother and sister Cassandra from 1809 until just before her death in 1817. Today the house is a museum that has been open to the public since 1949. The Austen family weren't very wealthy, and they didn't have a great estate. Jane's own home isn't as large or as beautiful as the homes of the characters in her novels, like Mr. Darcy. But the house is quite comfortable, pretty and light, and there's a beautiful garden. Visitors today can see many of Jane's possessions, including the desk where she completed her 6 novels. Jane Austen didn't become a famous writer in her own lifetime. Her own name did not even appear on her work until after her death. She wrote as a lady, but slowly she has become one of the most read female novelists in the world. Since the early 20th century, there have been many famous film and television adaptations of her novels. The first famous film of Pride and Prejudice was made in 1940. In recent years, there have been many adaptations of her work, as well as films about her life. Keira Knightley played Elizabeth Bennet in Pride and Prejudice, and Anne Hathaway played Jane Austen herself in a film about her life, Becoming Jane. And still today, fans come to this quiet and gentle part of the English countryside to learn more about her life and work. Over 200 miles away from the gentle countryside and bright, comfortable living rooms of Jane Austen's world, there's another house with a far more dramatic and remarkable literary history. This is the town of Haworth in Yorkshire, in the north of England. And at the top of the steep cobbled high street is the Bronte parsonage. This house was the home of Charlotte Bronte, the author of Jane Eyre, Emily Bronte, the author of Wuthering Heights, and Anne Bronte, the author of The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. The sisters moved here with their father Patrick and their brother Branwell, and it was in this small home they wrote the famous novels that have sold millions of copies and have been adapted into hundreds of stage plays, films, and television programmes. Haworth is surrounded by Pennine Yorkshire moorland, and this dramatic scenery was the inspiration for many of the Brontes' novels. Life was very hard here in the mid-1800s. The Brontes' mother died soon after arriving at Haworth, and two sisters, Maria and Elizabeth, died when they were just 10 and 11. The sisters were very close and rarely left the parsonage, as Anne Dinsdale from the Bronte parsonage explains.
What they really wanted to do was to be together at the parsonage and to write, and that's what they did.
The sisters wrote in the evening, sitting together at the table in the small dining room. Like Jane Austen, the sisters didn't use their real names when they first published their books.
They published their novels under the names Currer Ellis and Acton Bell, hoping that they would be treated as writers rather than women writers.
Their books were instant hits, and everyone wanted to know the true identity of the authors. So Charlotte and Anne travelled to London by train to tell their publishers their real names. But tragedy was never far away. In 1848, Branwell died, followed 3 months later by Emily, and then Anne 5 months after that. Shortly after she married, Charlotte died in 1855. But by the time she died, Charlotte was a famous writer.
She died in 1855 in this house, and 2 years after her death, a biography written by Elizabeth Gaskell was published, The Life of Charlotte Bronte, and that attracted a huge amount of interest in the Brontes' lives. People wanted to come to Haworth and see the place where the Bronte novels had been written and to see where the family had lived their lives.
There has been a small Bronte museum in Haworth since 1895. But it wasn't until 1928 that the parsonage opened to the public. Today, inside, visitors can see many of the sisters' possessions, including Charlotte's wedding dress, and many of the sisters' handwritten letters and manuscripts. Experts still come to the parsonage from around the world to research the sisters and their work.
Every year we get 75,000 visitors on average, and they're drawn from all over the world, from America, from Japan, from places in this country. The Bronte novels have been translated into over 26 different languages. They're read by people all over the world.
For many visitors, it is exploring the dramatic Yorkshire countryside surrounding the parsonage that really helps them to understand the powerful novels of the remarkable Bronte sisters.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi. How are you today?
Okay,
Very
thanks.
nice.
Right, it's very nice to see you. So we'll start Unit 8 today.
Okay.
So the Unit 8 starts. From today on, I will not give the explanation about unit, but there is a video that will explain. So let's see it.
Okay.
Unit
Rivers, lakes, and oceans are great places to enjoy outdoor activities. Water sports like paddleboarding, surfing, and sailing are an excellent way of keeping fit. And they also give us a chance to get closer to some of the amazing wildlife that lives under the waves. While you probably don't want to spot a shark while you are surfing, seeing dolphins swimming next to your boat while you are sailing can be a magical experience. Our oceans are home to an enormous variety of marine life, plants and animals that live in the sea. Under the surface of the water is a hidden world that very few people ever see.
So, as you have just seen, today's topic will be about nature, all kind of adventures. So to start with, can you answer the question, which of these things do you think boys do better than girls, or vice versa? Vice versa means yok, tiskers. So one by one, let's just, for example, I think boys are better at cooking than girls. But that's my opinion. So what do you think, Ozoda?
I think boys are better at sports than girls.
Ah, you think boys are better at sports than girls? Probably. Zarfan?
Okay, I think girls are better at talking about feelings than boys.
Definitely.
Definitely, yeah.
Asluddin?
In my opinion, boys stronger than girls.
That's obvious, but how about this? Like cooking, math, sport, driving, making. What do you think from this list?
Yeah, more clever than boy. The girls.
Then girls or the girls?
Then girls.
Ah. Girls, can you hear him? He says
It's
boys are
only opinion.
cleverer than girls. It's only what?
It's only his opinion.
So are you going to disprove his opinion?
Mm,
Girls, defend yourself. But I've heard the BBC kind of podcast. It says if boys are more cleverer, why there is more active and cleverest smart students in classes? Is it the same in your classes at school? For example, yes, it was the same. Girls studied better than boys at schools, even at university. But at the
yeah.
end, boys can get better jobs just because of their gender, do you think? Just because they are boys?
Maybe, for
Yeah.
example, at school, at university, girls are very smart. They will do
Yes.
everything. But after marriage, they can do all things that they want.
Mm. That's the illness of our society.
Yes.
And not only in Uzbekistan, but I have seen that in China as well. They also complain that girls are better, girls do more, but at the end, they end up getting low salaries or not good job.
Even jobs,
So,
jobs asked about, are you married or not? This kind of
yeah,
questions they give.
yeah, for example, in Europe, I think they still have, but not too much. So marriage does not matter, gender does not matter. So knowledge and skill matters in most developed countries. So I think we will also become that kind of country. And a lot of my friends, girls, who are really good at academic performance and really good at English, they're getting better jobs. Hope it will change some. Big Zot, what do you think? Who is better at these things?
I think girls are better at learning foreign language than boys.
Definitely, yeah. That's why there are many students in Jahan Tillare. 90% girls, maybe
Yeah.
99. Some groups don't even have a boy. So yeah, I agree with you. What I was going to say, I forgot. Well, I'm sorry, I'm just doing this stuff, preparing a question for you. Look at this photo. Can you see someone in this photo?
Yes, girl.
Yes.
Yeah, a girl is climbing
Rock.
on a rock. Absolutely. And the scenery is just beautiful. Where do you think it is? Sorry. It's already written. Where is this place? That's in China.
Mm.
That's in China. Now here it says, sorry, optimize. No, it's okay. The tiny figure here is Tilly Parkins from Sydney, Australia. She's one of the world's greatest climbers. By the way, باید محسوب بنویسم. Better برو. Amerika'da better dedi. Better. Britannia better. So which one is better for you? You can choose, but I prefer better, British. And listen to the interview and answer the questions. We're going to listen to the interview with Tilly Parkins. So pay attention. Where does Tilly train in the week? What's her job? And was it difficult to climb Moon Hill Creek? And who's Adam Pitty? And why does Tilly go rock climbing? But before that, I think we should go to grammar of this unit. Don't sleep during the grammar. I know it's boring, but we have to learn it.
Okay.
So have to. For today, we learned about all modal verbs, I think. Modal verbs are like modal fiillare. They don't have much meaning, but they add to the meaning. That's why. So what do they add? For example, it means that have to'dan keyin yana bir fe'l kelishi aniq va u fe'lga yordamchi qo'shimcha ma'no yuklaveradi. Qanaqa ma'no yuklashini hozir ko'ramiz. The first thing is have to. Now have to does not have meaning as bor now. Hozir bordek ma'nosi yo'q, but it means majbur yoki kerak. Keraklik ma'nosi ham majburlikdan kerak. For example, I have to work hard. Qattiq ishlashim kerak. Yoki inkorlari xuddi have, don't bilan yasalganda yasaladi. So'rog'i ham do, you have to bilan yasaladi. So I don't have to work hard. She has to work hard, or it doesn't have to work hard. And the question form is like, do I have to work hard? Yes, you do. And does she have to work hard? And yes, no questions is answered by, do you have to wear a uniform? Yes, I do. Does he have to go now? No, he doesn't. So har doim day. Savolga qarab javob. Ya'ni bizda salomga qarab alik dedik. So do and do. Does, yes, does. He and he. You and I bu yerda. So past form of have to. Past form of have to is nima bo'ladi?
Had to.
Had to. Va inkor va so'roqlari didn't va did. Did you have to or didn't have to? Va bu yerda kerak emas, majbur bo'lmoq deb tarjima qilsa chiroyli chiqadi. Masalan, I had to get up early this morning. Men erta turishim kerak edi emas, erta turishga majbur bo'ldim. Shunda ma'no to'g'ri chiqadi. So why did you have to work last weekend? Or I didn't have to do any housework when I was a child. But I had to a lot, in my opinion. Any question about have to? If not, let's continue. You can ask, even if you can ask in chats if you are shy to ask. So use. Where do you use? Majburiy, kuchli bir burchni ifodalaydi. Majburiyatni. Lekin bu majburiyat qayerdan keladi? Tashqaridan keladi. Outside. For example, o'zingga bog'liq emas. Masalan, it's a rule at school, at work, yoki kimnidir boshliqligida, in someone's authority. So you have to pass the driving test if you want to drive a car. So that's the law, qonun. I have to start work at 8. My company says that I must. And the doctor says I have to do more exercise. Va ikkinchi ishlatilishi doesn't have to expresses absence of obligation. Ya'ni majburiyatning yo'qolishi, majbur emas, shart emas degan ma'noda. It isn't necessary. For example, you don't have to do the washing up. I've got a dishwasher. That's it. She doesn't have to work on Monday. It's her day off. Dushanba kuni ishlash shart emas. Ishlashga majbur emas. I didn't have to get up early this morning, but I did get up because it was such a lovely day. Turishim shart emasdi, lekin turdim because it was such a lovely day. And you have to be very careful about have to, have got to, and have to is the same. But have got to is more informal. You can use it on the streets with your friends. But it usually expresses an obligation on one particular occasion. Ma'lum bir vaziyatda majburiyatni bildirishi mumkin. Look at the time, I've got to go. Or I'm going to bed, I've got to get up early tomorrow. She's got to work hard. Her exams start next week. The forms of have got to plus infinitive are the same as have got plus noun. The form of have got to plus infinitive xuddi I have got a house, meaning bir uyim bor. I've got to go to my house. Men uyimga borishim kerak. Xullas, have got to dan keyin fe'l, have got dan keyin ot keladi. Shunda ma'noni o'zgaradi. Bordan majbur bo'lmoqqa. So, see the page 137 to check the list. Infinitivlar ro'yxati bor. Qayerdan keyin to keladi, qayerdan keyin ing. So you should check that list later on. But I have a question. You can make a sentence. For example, here it says, you have to pass a driving test if you want to drive a car. Agar Britaniyaga sayohat qilmoqchi bo'lsang, koronavirusda test topshirishing kerak. How can you say that?
If you
Corona.
are
Take
thrilled
test. Take test. Stop
if you are thrilled to Britain, you have to take a test.
That's great. Also that. And if you want to travel to Great Britain, you have to take a coronavirus test if you want. That's the correct way. So let's practice it later in here, but we have another grammar. That's so another modal verb is can. We're going to learn. We're going to learn all of them together. So can, you know that. I can do that. You can do that. Could is the past form. I could do that. You could do that. But must, do you have any idea about must?
Kerak.
Yeah, that's also can. So have to is also kerak. But what's the difference?
Şart manasındadır.
Yeah,
Şart.
that's much more strong. Majbur. Not majbur, I'm sorry. It comes from your inside. For example, have to comes from outside. Demek bu içki mecburiyet. For example, I must go there. My mom is waiting. And shall?
Future tense.
Yes, it makes the future. I shall go. But now, usually will is used. Should.
Gerek.
It's also kerek. What's the difference?
Maslahat.
It is
Yeah, that's advice. Maslahat manastik. For example, you should study hard. You should do some things. And will is to make a question, to make future.
Plan.
Yeah, I will go, you will go. And would?
it also future when we are speaking about unreal situation.
Yeah, that's true. I would, the if conditional بنكتب. أصلا will'ni would كان زمان شكله. I will go, I would go. Borardım. Şimdi unreal bo'ladi. Bormagan emaslik aslida. I would go if you have told me about the party. So they go with another verb and add meaning. For example, all auxiliary verbs. I can play the guitar. I must wash my hair. Demak, modal fe'llardan keyin s hech qaysida olmaydi. 3 so'roqda hech qanaqa do, does kelmaydi. O'zi yasaladi. O'zlari oldinga chiqadi. Can she sing? Shall we go now? Negative ham no do, no doesn't. Va will not qisqartma shakli won't bo'ladi. For future, it won't rain tomorrow. Ko'p modal fe'llar hozir va kelajakka aloqador. But only can has a past tense. Could. Qolgan modal fe'llar kelajakka aloqasi. What's next? Last 2 modal verbs left. So should plus fe'l tusiz keladi. I should go, like hamma shaxslar uchun bir xil va I should yoki inkori should not yoki so'rog'i should I bilan yasaladi. I should do more exercise. I shouldn't tell lies. Question is, do you think? First, should I see a doctor اللي كمان بيبقى بتغرينا do you think I should see a doctor اكترف يم do you think should I see the doctor بنابته do you think I should see a doctor çünkü birinci taraf savaldaki yıl demek ikinci taraf adli buluş bulabilir. Do you think I should see the doctor? And yes, no questions. Should I phone home? Yes, you should. يعني بقى تبقى تكرار لهذا. Should I buy a motorbike? No, you shouldn't. İşletilir gapiruvchi o'zi to'g'ri deb bo'lgan narsaga ishlatma. It express mild obligation. Sal yumshoqroq burch majburiyatni bildiradi. Maslahat ma'nosida. I should do more work. I should do more work. And you should do more work. The same. This is my advice. This is my opinion. And shouldn't express negative advice. You shouldn't sit so close to the TV, it's bad for your eyes. And should express the opinion of the speaker. And it's often introduced by I think, I don't think. Çünkü speaker'ın fikri bo'lgani uchun just I think yoki I don't think bilan boshlanishi kerak ko'pincha. I think politicians should listen more. I don't think people should get married until they're 21. Last but not least is modal verb must. As we talked, must is yes yana fe'lni oddiy shaklida yasaladi va bunda hamma shaxsga bir xil. I must try hard, I mustn't not bilan yasalyapti. Still incorrect. So must expresses strong obligation. Juda kuchli majburiyat, burchni ifodalaydi. Va bu burch it comes from inside the speaker. Gapiruvchining ichidan keladi. I must have a shower. I think it's necessary. You must can express a strong suggestion. Kuchli maslahatni bildiradi. You must see the Monet exhibition. It's wonderful. You must give me a call when you are next in town. So, what modal verbs we learned today?
Have to, should, must.
Can, could, will, would.
And do you have any question or misunderstanding about it?
No, we haven't.
All right. You can see that in the workbook, there are lots of exercises. Now we're going to listen to that clinging woman. Who is she and what does she want to say to us? So you are lucky that I am sharing with you the text. I'm afraid you will not get the full point. So let's listen and
Unit 8, Tape Script 8.1. Interview with Tilly Parkins.
Tilly, I'm sure you have to be very fit and strong to go climbing. How often do you have to train?
I don't have to train every day, just 2 or 3 times a week. That's enough. I go to the gym. At the weekend, I try to get out of the city onto rock, but sometimes I have to work at the hospital.
What do you do at the hospital?
I'm a cardiac technologist. I help doctors treat people with heart diseases.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. The photograph of Moon Hill Crag is amazing. Was it a difficult climb?
Difficult and very beautiful.
I can see that. It's like a painting. What time of day was it?
It was just after dawn. I had to climb very early in the morning. You can't climb later in the day. It's too hot, over 35 degrees Celsius.
Who took the photograph?
a brilliant sports photographer called Adam Pretty.
He's a brave man.
Oh, he didn't have to climb with me. He took the photo from a nearby tourist spot.
Wise man. Rock climbing is such a dangerous sport, and you've climbed in some of the most difficult places in the world. Why do you do it?
It's what I love doing. It's my life. It's who I am.
So, where does Tilly train in the week?
The gym. She trains in the gym.
Mm. And what's her job?
3 times.
What's her job?
Her job is
technologist.
Yes, cardiac technologies. So, okay.
And she's also a climber. A climber. Yeah.
Why does Tilly go rock climbing?
because she loved doing this.
Because
She loves
because it's what I am, you know.
yeah. It's my life, she says.
So Tilly Parkins. I'm trying to search for it. Look what I have found. Wait. This is the place she traveled. You can see here. Then we have Tilly Parkins herself.
My name for the cause I claim and the reason. And the man would say
She's a Tilly Parkins.
Cause they don't wanna hear, oh Lord, they don't wanna hear. But it's loud and clear, and it's deep inside my soul.
That's all about her, and now here's the picture. So we should fill this exercise with have to and modal verbs, what it fits. Let's just check if it's not difficult. I think we can just listen because it's hard to go back to the interview.
Tape script 8.2. 1.
How often does she have to train?
2 or 3 times a week?
Oh no. Ondan mı yaşamız gerek?
8. Tape script 8.1. Interview with Tilly Parkins.
Tilly, I'm sure you have to be very fit and strong to go climbing. How often do you have to train?
I don't have to train every day, just 2 or 3 times a week. That's enough. I go to the gym. At the weekend, I try to get out of the city onto rock, but sometimes I have to work at the hospital.
What do you do at the hospital?
I'm a cardiac technologist. I help doctors treat people with heart diseases.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. The photograph of Moon Hill Crag is amazing. Was it a difficult climb?
Difficult and very beautiful.
I can see that. It's like a painting. What time of day was it?
It was just after dawn. I had to climb very early in the morning. You can't climb later in the day. It's too hot, over 35 degrees Celsius.
Who took the photograph?
A brilliant sports photographer called Adam Pretty.
He's a brave man.
Oh, he didn't have to climb with me. He took the photo from a nearby tourist spot.
Wise man. Rock climbing is such a dangerous sport, and you've climbed in some of the most difficult places in the world. Why do you do it?
It's what I love doing. It's my life. It's who I am.
Now let's learn how to make question form. Complete the questions and answers. So one by one. I'll read the one and you'll do the next. How often does she have to climb, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Train, I think.
Train. How often does she have to train? 2 or 3 times a week. 2. Indira. How do we make question? Yeah, does she have to work at weekends? Yes, she does sometimes. 3, Begzot.
Why does she have to climb more?
Why does she have to again? Because later it goes to hot and you?
Hot and you have to climb in the...
Can't climb in the air, in the heat. 4. Adam have to...
Does Adam have to climb the rock?
Yeah, did Adam have to? I think did.
Yeah.
Because it was had to. Did Adam have to climb the rock?
Climb the rock, yeah.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
He took the photo from
He took the photo from a tourist spot.
What?
What is next? Pronunciation. 2 and 3. So listen to the sentence and notice the different pronunciations of have, has, had.
Tape script 8.3. Pronunciation. 1.
I have a good job. I have to work hard.
2.
He has a nice camera. She has to train a lot.
So did you notice? I have لكن have to كيف قلنا have to F بالأمول يمشي has أصله has لكن has to بيسح سبب has to and had is D, but when it comes to pronounce had to, it becomes T, had to. The rest.
3.
We had a good time. We had to get up early.
So had to. So mikrofonlaring ish o'chirib buni orqasidan takrorlaymiz. 8.3.
Tape script 8.3. Pronunciation. 1.
I have a good job. I have to work hard.
2.
He has a nice camera. She has to train a lot.
3.
We had a good time. We had to get up early.
Sports. Talking about sports. Now we work in groups and ask, choose a sport from the box. Choose a sport from the box. Yeah, a lot of sports. And don't tell your partner what sport you have chosen. High sport and ask and answer questions. And yes, no questions. Find out what it is and what sport it is. Here is a question. For example, you can say, if I say, like, what is the easiest way? Football. I ask you, if you choose football tanlagan says at matras. I ask, do you do it inside or outside? You say inside, outside. So I can guess that's football. So we give chance to Sultan with the sport laces. And who else? Ozode, you can choose one sport. Let's start from Ozode. Did you choose?
Yes.
So she has chosen. Choose the most difficult one. So guys, you can ask questions one by one.
Do it inside or outside?
Do you have to do it inside or outside? No, just do you do it? Have to be obviously the house. Do you do it inside or outside? Also then?
It's both of them, but especially it's outside.
Not necessarily outside. You can do it in the inside or outside. Next question.
Do you play it with a ball?
Do you play it with the ball? Hello, do you play it with a ball? I think we lost the connection.
Mikrofon açık.
Okay. And do you have to wear special clothes for it? Also that?
Yeah, of course.
If you do,
They have to wear special clothes.
Aslan, you can ask questions. So can you do it on your own?
No, we can't do it on our.
Do you have to have a special place to go to do it?
Yes.
Do you have to do?
We have to have a special place to do it.
On a special place. That must be
Golf?
No.
Is it
Do you,
winter
I have a
sport or
question.
summer sport? Ah, okay.
Do you do it on water?
No.
Do you play it in a team?
No.
Ah, that's individual sport. Okay.
Do you have to run fast?
Do you have to run fast for this sport?
It's somehow.
So you can run in this sport, but the last one, can you earn a lot of money?
Yeah.
That must be.
I think
Tennis.
Yeah, of course.
Tennis.
tennis. Yes.
But you cannot play it on your own. You said yes.
Oh yeah.
So that's your
It's
mistake.
pair sport, yes.
Two
Yeah,
players.
that's pair
Yeah?
sport.
Pair sport, yeah.
Still, it's called. Now here you have to speak about boys and girls, about sport. So which sports do both boys and girls do? Are there any sports where girls and boys compete against each other? So everybody has 1 minute. So we have 7 minutes. So quickly talk about these things. Not only just 3 sentences are enough. For example, let's start from Zara Homro. And which sports do both boys and girls do?
I think tennis. Boys and girls can play tennis.
Are there any sports where girls and boys compete against each other?
Yeah, against each other. Yes.
Are there? Who has answered for this?
I'm thinking of.
Maybe volleyball.
Volleyball can be, yeah. And girls are really good at volleyball.
Yes.
And about sister.
Yes.
Which sports do you do? Describe us about this sport. For example, in IELTS even, you have to describe a sport you recently. So tell us about a sport you do and describe this sport to us. Is it helpful? Is it good? How often do you go? What do you do and what do you need?
I do cycling, not every day, but 3 or 4 times a week. Early in the morning, and I prefer doing it because of my health. It makes me how can I say, relax or what?
Relax. healthy.
Бодрый дейді-ку. Німейді бодрый дейді-ку русчада?
I don't know Russian.
Tetik дейді ғой өзбекчеде.
Active, energetic.
Yes, energetic. And I feel myself free, nima deydi, erkin qilaman all day, all my day. That's why I try to do it always.
Excellent. So, does anyone do cycling in this group? I think you are the only one who does cycling, who goes cycling.
During the quarantine, I used to do it
Yeah, we also.
with my mom.
So we have a new Big Zot. What sports do you do? When and how? Tell us about a sport you do regularly. Aynen böyle şart emas. You should just speak. It doesn't matter to be true or not. Do you do any sports?
No.
You don't?
No. Because I have not time.
You don't have free time for it?
Yeah. I mean.
So what do you do to keep fit, to be healthy? So that's obvious that if you don't do sport, you can get fat or kind of stuff. So what do you do? Or you just eat little and do nothing? That's okay. I'm also your kind of man now. I used to do a lot of sport, but not now. That's so right. Oh. So what's your advice? That's not clear. No, it's clear. So I need your advice. Should, must. So if you read problems in newspaper pages, they usually talk about family problems or financial problems or health problems. So now we're gonna read about the problems. Letters came to Annie and explain the headings. What advice would you give? So we're gonna read these questions first, then we're gonna give advice for them. What advice can we give? So let me switch the screen for you. Here you are. Let's do like this. One by one, we read. Example, Indira can start from no time for fun.
I'm 14 and I do gymnastics. I have to train 30 hours a week because my mom and my coach want me to try for the next Olympics. I like gymnastics, but I have no time for anything else in my life. My school friends tell me that I'm missing all the fun. What should I do? Tracy.
Okay. So her problem is he does gymnastic, he trains 30 hours a week because their parents, their mom, her mom wants it for the Olympics. So her problem is he's doing a lot of sport, but he doesn't have time for fun. What should he do? What's your advice?
My advice for her is to do what she wants to do.
So
But
she should
not
do
she
what she wants to do.
But not she has to.
Yeah, that's great. So she should do what she wants to do, not what she has to do. Good phrase. Next is for Big Zot. Read it. Can you read it? Could you please read it? I think he can't hear. Aslan, you can read.
Yeah.
All right. Back to you, Big Zot.
My husband started playing online computer games last year. Since then, he has lost all interest in everything else, even me and our baby. He starts playing as soon as he gets up and begins again when he gets back from work. He gets angry if I talk to him about it. What should I do?
Voila. Your problem is a big problem. So, advisors, do you have any advice? So her problem is that her husband is addicted to computer games, and he doesn't have time for his kids, for his wife, and for his family. What should Paula do? You should.
To my mind, they must go abroad for several times, I think. For a long time.
Traveling
to abroad.
Okay. What if husband goes there with his laptop? It doesn't stop.
What?
If he goes with his laptop or telephone, he can still play computer games or mobile games. But still good idea. Leaving everything behind, they should go traveling, as Ibadat sister said. And anyone else? Big Zot, do you have your own advice?
I think she should
she should marry another one?
Maybe maybe focus to himself.
So Big Zot, you're saying that she should talk to her, right?
Yeah.
Indira, Aslıddin, Azada, Zarifkhan bro. You will have such kind of problems. You will have, I'm saying. So you should find an advice for her right now. For example, a lot of parents now say that their children are addicted to mobile games. Even I see a lot, yeah. Even I see a lot on the in the metro, on the bus, on train even, I see a lot of young boys and girls playing PUBG, all that kind of stuff, which I really hate. So even one mother told me that if I took the mobile phone away, my son got mad. He was like a crazy boy. So they're so addicted. So what should they do?
We should limit the time playing phones, laptops, I think, because I'm doing such kind of
Method?
Yes, today because of my son.
That's a good advice. That's a good advice. So even for future mothers and fathers, and for mothers and fathers, there is a function that parents control in mobile phones.
Yes, they should control their children.
If you have installed that, you can limit the time just from your own mobile phone. Limit the websites. So that's a good way. I have done it to a lot of my friends in the village. They are just teenagers. And every news comes to my mobile phone, what they use, what they install, and what they watch. So that's a good way to control your children's mobile activity. Okay?
I have an idea, and in my opinion, nowadays, parents use books more than telephones, like computers, and then their children are interested in reading books more than telephones, using telephone and computers.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You're saying that you should encourage your children to read more books rather than digital texts, which are harmful for their eyes.
And parents help their children to realize it's wasting of time.
That's another good way. Yes, you should give a clear explanation. You should explain him or children what is right and what is wrong with a good example. That's also a good way. So we can open a consultant company that can help people because a lot of good minds are here. All right. 3. Aslan, you can reach with your American accent.
I'm in the army, and in my job, I have to give talks to large groups of people. The last time was a disaster because I was so nervous. My hands shook and I spoke too fast. How can I control my nerves? What should I do?
Yeah, his problem is he gets so nervous. Judayam nima hayajonlanib ketadi. Bu yerda nervous biz jahli chiqqanini tarjima qilamiz. Juda hayajonlanib ketadi. For example, in exam I got nervous deydi. So in the army, he's in the army and he talks to public, a lot of group of people. So he gets his hands shook and he spoke too fast. So what should he do? Asadun, do you have your own advice for him?
Yes. Maybe read more books because read books is help to speak
confidently.
Confidently. Confidently.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also a good way, reading a lot. So you know a lot of vocabulary or a lot of good, beautiful ways to explain yourself. Another way, others, do you have any advice?
So I think, first of all, he he should get himself to be ready from the beginning, before.
He should prepare. He should train beforehand.
He should prepare himself.
But still, look, if I am a very nervous person, I am a nervous person, but even if I prepare beforehand, when I see the public, I just get muted. I just get nervous. But I think that's their problem is not with the training, but the mental, like they're afraid of public. And somebody was going to say that. Hiksot or kimdir demek istiyor?
He should rest.
He should relax before giving lecture.
It is a quiet place.
All right. That's a good idea as well. But I think my personal opinion is that he should train before the public a lot, not by himself or by looking at the mirror or by looking at the photo of a lot of people. He should train himself.
Yeah.
And somebody says, I hate him. Azada, can you read it as?
I'm 11 and my brother is 15. I think my mom and dad love him more than me. They have just bought him the best computer. They say that he has to have it for his exams. I don't even have my own mobile phone, and I have to wear all his old clothes. Really. This problem, I think this problem has have a lot of family. I think all parents should be adaletli.
Just.
Should be just for their children.
So they should treat equally. That's nice. Do you have any advice for this little boy? I used to have the same thing. For example, my brother used to get the best thing because he's elder, and the best clothes because he's elder, and I have to wear his clothes. I had to wear his clothes, and always complained, when the time comes, I will buy my own clothes, and it is the time. But it was great. Sharing was caring. Any advice for this boy?
It's normal situation.
Yeah.
He understand that he should understand that.
So the boy should understand, in your opinion. But leaving such kind of space for the boy, when he grows up with another thinking. So he grows up with hate or kind of things. So they should solve this problem in an early age.
To my mind, he should to ask his parents why they are doing this. That's why maybe time by time he can understand, he can catch this situation. I think so.
Definitely. So now, let's pay attention the advice. First, we should complete the gap. Then we should find who this advice is to. Who is this advice to? Zarf Homro. 1. Somebody is making a very bad noise. Qayerdandir texnika ovoz chiqyapti. Zarf Homro, you can read. So you are you here?
No.
He isn't.
Yes.
Indira, you can do this.
You should explain how you feel to your coach and your mother. However, in the end, the decision is yours and yours alone. You must decide your own future.
Yes. You must decide your own future. Who is this
First one.
for?
Gymnastic girl.
Yeah, for the gymnastic. Now the second is for Big Sot.
Tell him that he
Okay.
He must change his ways or he'll lose his wife and family. Talk to all your friends and family about the problem. You should suffer a lot.
So you say he must change his ways. Listen, talk to you and your friends about the problem. You shouldn't suffer alone. You okay? Yeah, you shouldn't, Voldemort?
Yep.
Yes, you shouldn't suffer alone. Sultan, 3.
You should write your speech down, but I
should again, yeah.
Yes.
You should write your speech down, but
I don't think you should read it aloud to the group. Just make notes to help you remember it. For more help you.
Maslahat, Kirek.
Game should.
Yeah, you should. You should visit speechtips.com. All right. Sultan, be very active. O'tgan darslarda Sultan deb chaqirganimda qaramagansiz, shunda bugun ham yo'qmi deb e'tibor bermayapmiz. Borligingizni bildirib turing-da. Okay. 4.
You should talk to your parents about how you feel. You shouldn't feel jealous of your brother. Older than you.
You shouldn't feel jealous. That's all. Nice advice. And this is about the boy, right? About the brothers.
Yeah.
And the last advice from Annie comes here. So here, let's read one by one, starting from Ozol'da. Qolganlar mikrofonni o'chirib tursin, mana. Very well. Ozod, you can start.
Good preparation is the answer. You must prepare well and practice a lot. The first 30 seconds are the most important. You should begin with a personal story. It will relax you and the audience.
Who is it about?
Who is about?
I think it's about...
I get so nervous.
Ah, yeah. It's all right. I get so nervous. Here, it's Mark. Perfect. Next. Sultan. More and more
people worldwide have become attached to this. He must get professional help, but this is difficult because he won't accept that he was a problem. I think you should show him his letter and visit the website
olganan.org. Perfect. So professionallarga uchrashyapti, but this is difficult. He won't accept that person. He has a problem. I think you should show him this letter and visit the website olganan.org. Kim uchun bu, Sulton? Bu maslahat?
Bu maslahat.
He was this person. Or Paula. Because uni eri kompyuter o'yinlari kamikasdan ketgan edi. 4 is for Sister Ibodat. These feelings are... You can read. She isn't here. You can read, Sister Ibodat. See. I think she left somewhere. We have Asladin.
These feelings are very common between brothers and sisters. I'm sure your parents love you and your brother just the same. So you shouldn't worry about this. When you're older, you'll get your own phone and your own clothes. I hate him, maybe.
It was Billy.
Yeah.
Cool. And the last advice here is, Indira, you can read this to us.
And the fact is that to get to the top in sport, you have to train very hard indeed. You should talk to someone else about your doubts. I don't think you should listen to just your friends. It's first one about gymnastic girl.
So gymnastic.
Gymnastic.
That's correct. And I think that's the end of our lesson today. But not finished yet. Because we couldn't finish one extra page today. Listening also should be done today, but we'll do next lesson.
Okay.
this reading is for homework. All right. This
Okay.
time we will read at home. Faqat reading ni bajaramiz, or listening and speaking bu yerda bajaramiz. So for the home task, again, workbook 8-ni readingigacha. Keyin shadowingda mana shuni ichidan chiqqan listeninglar. For example, interviewni shadow qilish mumkin. Lekin video tashlayman. So workbook, lug'atni keyin readingdan tepasiz 8-unit butunlay yodlab bo'linar ekan keyingi darsgacha. That's it.
Okay.
And I want to do some shadowing with you. I have a video. So shadow. In Telegram, there's for example, this one who can do this? Let's just show you or remind you how to do the shadowing. For example, Big Zot said it's becoming difficult for me, but
Yes.
train a lot. Would you like to try, Big Zot?
For me.
Would you like to try? Yeah, let's do it. For example, tagida matni chiqadi. Bemalol eshitgandan keyin takrorlayvering. So, naushnik bormi yoningizda?
Yeah.
Yes, that's perfect.
Thanks for meeting me. Sure.
Thanks for meeting me. I'd like
get your advice.
to get your advice on my let's pray.
Okay. Bittasini nutqini takrorlashingiz mumkin, chunki ikkovini ham ulgurmay qolasiz. Only this woman.
My latest project. Of course. I heard you were sent to cover a big food festival that has all kinds of barbecue. So how did it go? Well, things started out great.
Great. But
Well,
then I
maybe
will.
you should watch it yourself.
Maybe you should watch it
Hi,
yourself.
English learners. Your lesson today is about beaver.
In the United States brings together food festivals in the United States.
Now, you can start.
Today, a barbecue battle is being held in Washington, D.C. This festival, which is known as one of the biggest food festivals in the United States, brings together barbecue lovers from all over the country. Barbecue is meat that is cooked over an open fire or on a grill. Chicken, pork, and beef are all common meats to grill on a barbecue. No matter which meat you like to barbecue, very important. Sauces are taken very seriously by chefs. Secret. So, can you tell us what is in your barbecue sauce?
No,
I can't.
So tell us, what is the secret ingredient in your barbecue sauce?
In your barbecue sauce.
Sauces are made by the barbecue chefs themselves. Most sauces are made with a tomato sauce, vinegar, and spices.
How many passive sentences did you?
Okay. We have ending.
About barbecue.
I know barbecue.
So that's it. That's a very short training. Buni agar dars taqsak, so we have to spend a lot of time. So you can do it at home by yourself. Lekin videoni shadow qilishda yana qo'shimcha material kerakda. For example, a laptop or a TV Çünkü birida yozasiz, birida ko'rishingiz kerak. So, perfect. By this way you can train. And I guarantee you, if you do it every single day, your speaking will not be same. It will be different. So let me send this to the group. Pretty. You're gonna do this shadow. And do we have anything else? This one as well. Two videos for shadowing, workbook, and vocabulary. That's it. So thank you for coming, everyone. Do you have any question?
No, we have no question.
No questions.
That means you have understood everything in detail. So thank you very much. See you again the day after tomorrow. So take care. Have a nice day. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye.